Hey, what's up guys? I'm Mark Scott. Never want to miss one of these tips again? Make sure to like and follow my page at facebook.com/MarcScottVoiceover. You can also read my voiceover blog at marcscottvoiceover.com and check out my coaching resources at marcscottcoaching.com. So are you familiar with the term perfection paralysis? Basically what we're talking about here is when you feel like everything has to absolutely be perfect. All of your ducks have to be in a row, every I dotted, every T crossed before you can ever get started. And because it's so overwhelming and you never actually do get to that state of perfection, you're basically paralyzed. So you never do get started. Perfection paralysis. And this is something that I see happening a lot with voice actors, especially new voice actors that are starting out, because they want to have everything in place before they ever try and book that first voiceover. So they've got to have all of their demos, and they have to all be produced by a top producer. They all have to be cut up into individual pieces so that they are ready to be loaded into the voice sampler, so that they're ready to be put online and ready to be attached to emails and ready to be included in all of their marketing efforts. And all of those demos have to be perfect and ready to go before anything can get started. Of course, you want to post those on your website, so your website has to be done, which means that you have to have a perfectly and professionally designed website with all of the bells and whistles and features and functions. And it all has to be online and ready to go before you can ever get started. Since you're working on your website, you might as well tie in your branding as well, because hey, that's a big part of the picture. So you've got to have your tagline, you've got to have your logo, you've got to have your fonts chosen, you have to have your headshot picked out, all of the different little elements that go along with branding, because they've all got to be incorporated into your website. And of course, that means they all have to be incorporated into your demos as well, because it's part of your brand. And so that all needs to get started before you can, or needs to be done before you can ever get started. Now that you've got your demos and your website and your branding in place, of course, before you can ever record a voiceover, you have to have the best studio that you can possibly get, which means that you're going to spend all the money to get the top equipment, get your studio certified or approved or whatever it is that you need to do. And you know that you can provide the best quality audio no matter what the expense and no matter what you have to go through to get that set up, even if it means building onto your house or doing renovations, because you got to have the best studio and the best equipment before you can get started. Once you're ready to record voiceovers, though, you've got to be able to market yourself, which means that you're going to have a full marketing strategy in place. You're going to know how to do email marketing and drip campaigns and have all of that stuff automated for you. You're also going to learn how to use social media. Speaking of social media, you're going to have your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Snapchat, your Instagram, all set up and ready to go, and you're going to be a master on every one of those platforms. And all of these things have to happen before you can ever get started. Are you feeling overwhelmed yet? This is what we're talking about with perfection paralysis. You think that you need to have all of these things done, and as you start figuring out how you're going to do all of these things, you feel overwhelmed by your pursuit of perfection, and so you get paralyzed and you never get started. In 2012, when I started doing voiceover full-time, yes, I had been doing it part-time for many years. Yes, I had a background in broadcasting, but for the most part, I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I didn't have any of the tools to get it done right. I was using what some argue is the worst microphone in the world for recording voiceover, because it's what I had and it's what I could afford. I was recording voiceovers in my living room because I lived in an apartment and I didn't have anywhere to build a studio. Of course, that's the worst possible scenario, and you should never be able to record voiceovers there. You should never think of recording voiceovers there. I built my website by myself, which of course is a big no-no, and I read a couple of books and figured out my own branding as best as I could. Again, another big no-no, because you want that professionally done, of course. And all of these things, including my demos, by the way, which were put together based off of a couple of jobs that I had booked and, slapped together with some of the audio that I had, because at the time, I couldn't afford to go out and get all of the best demos produced. I did everything wrong. And in a few years, I built a really, really successful voiceover business for myself because I didn't give in to perfection paralysis. And you don't have to either. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. One simple line. Remember this, and you are well on your way. Pursue simple, get fancy later. I started out all the wrong ways, with all the wrong equipment, doing all the wrong things, but it was simple, it was affordable, it's what I had available to me at the time, and as my business grew, as I learned and developed as an individual and as an entrepreneur, I started making the tweaks and the changes that were necessary. Pursue simple, get fancy later. This is how you're going to get started.